Thank you for tuning in to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast, a no judgment zone podcast that covers lifestyle, entertainment, news, and sports. Even though KC doesn't watch sports, but these are minor details. By the way, he reads tarot cards too. Yes, I really mean it. He reads tarot cards too. And now, the host you've tuned in for, KC Phoenix.
Welcome again to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast. I am your host, KC Phoenix, and I'm attempting to get comfortable in this chair as you're watching. Wow, I haven't done a sports episode in forever. For those who know, which obviously by the intro to my podcast, I'm not really a sports person because sports just isn't my thing. However, I enjoy doing sports stories because you learn new things when you don't really participate while covering. So while covering, you learn new things. Is why I do the sports stuff. I finally found a sports story about a week or so ago that came across my phone, and I was like, wow, I want to do that story. And the reason is because when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, you can't be serious. Are we being serious right now? But yeah, before I go any further, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to the podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Let's go ahead and get into this. The soccer player, when I looked at my phone, it said soccer player hired someone to do something. I'm like, wait, what? I put allegedly in my title because I don't know the full story. Usually what I'll do is I'll glance at something, and as I'm reading the story, that's when I'm finding out. So really, I'm finding out the story as you're finding out the story. For the first time, as I'm reading through, I'm getting the information too. So we're all finding out together. And then obviously I will give my little commentary at the end and sometimes in the middle and all that stuff. But let's get to this. I'm using the article from CBS News, and it says, Paris Saint-Germain player Aminata Diallo arrested after teammate Kiara Hamraoui was pulled from car and I'll just say attacked. It says Paris Saint-Germain women's football player Aminata Diallo faced further questioning from police Thursday during a second day of detention over the assault of a teammate. Diallo was arrested Wednesday morning in connection with the vicious attack on fellow midfielder Kiara. That's a pretty name. Last week, who was pulled from a car and attacked on the legs with an iron bar by masked men. Okay, first thing that's coming through my head is ice skating. I don't know, some of you might be too young to remember this, listening to my podcast, or that may be watching this on Spotify or YouTube. But there was a situation, and I will never forget this, with Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan. Nancy Kerrigan was this amazing ice skater. Amazing. And Tanya Harding was actually a good ice skater too. But competition and all this other stuff. So Tanya Harding hired someone to attack Nancy Kerrigan's legs and do that. And it was a big thing. And actually, Nancy Kerrigan almost won. I think it was the gold or something like that. But she lost by like 1/8 of a point or something. And This is a long, long time ago. I'm doing this from memory. I want to say the skater's name. I want to say Nancy Kerrigan lost to what? Oksana Bayul, I think her name was. For those who watch ice skate, again, I'm like, even with ice skating, I'm not huge on that. The only ice skater I really liked, like I kind of kept up with, and she was actually from France, was what was her name? Simone Bao. So I think last name started with a B or something like that. She always wore the really cool outfits, but the reason I kept up with her is because she could do a backflip on ice skates. And I had never seen an ice skater do a backflip on ice skates. So I want to say it was Simone something. Hold on. Is Simone Biles the name of the person who does the gymnastics? What was that lady's name? But I know she was from France. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. Anyways, it was a black ice skater from France that could do a backflip on ice. Look it up. I forgot what her name was. But that's like the only person I would kind of follow in ice skating. But I did watch Nancy Kerrigan too, as well. But like I said, Nancy Kerrigan more than likely lost to Oksana Bayul. I'm pretty sure that was what her name was. But the whole thing before that was with the Tonya Harding thing, where Tonya Harding hired someone to attack Nancy Kerrigan. All right, back to this article. So Diallo was driving home at the time, and police are trying to determine if she had any link to the violence, which left the victim needing stitches on cuts to her legs and hands. It says, the longer the detention lasts, the less positive it is. A source to the club told the AFP, on condition of anonymity. That's when you got to say slow. Anonymity. There we go. A third PSG player, Sakana, we're just going to call her Sakana. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce her last name. A third PSG player, Sakina, was called to make a statement by police on Thursday morning while a man was taken into custody in the city of Lyon. On Wednesday, judicial sources say, Paris Saint-Germain canceled a planned media event by the women's team Friday, fearing that all the questions would be about an incident that has shaken the wealthy Qatar-owned club and the women's league more broadly. Is something that shocked me. The coach of Lyon's long-dominant women's team, Sonia, we'll just call her Sonia. These last names, it's too early in the morning. It said Wednesday night, after a Champions League game against Bayern Munich, I'm still a bit blown over by this incident. Even among men, we've never seen something like this. It's obviously negative for the women's game, she added. Clubs across Europe have plowed money into women's football. We call it soccer here in America. Into women's football in recent years, with the PSG's team attracting 16,000 supporters to their last game, Tuesday night against Real Madrid. Diallo, who played in that match instead of the injured teammate, is presumed innocent, and no evidence has been presented so far by police or prosecutors about her involvement in the attack on her teammate. The Grenoble-born player, 26, has not yet appointed a lawyer and could not be reached for comment. Diallo and Hamraoui, 31, are rivals in central midfield for PSG and the national team, but were seen as friends. Something just said to me, okay, this is random. For those who follow my podcast, you already know the deal with my intuition. Something just said to me, this is deeper than that. Something just said to me, this isn't about sports. If she if Diallo did what she did, it's not about sports. This was a personal matter. This didn't have anything to do with sports. I think people are missing something. If we don't even know what the situation is, we don't know. But what I'm telling you is, my intuition just said to me, it's not about sports. It's about something personal. If that's the case, if something happened, it's personal. So I'm throwing that out there. All right. So they go on holiday together, the source at the club said. Given the manner of the attack on her and the arrest of Diallo, commentators have recalled a notorious assault on American ice skater Nancy Kerrigan in the run-up to the 1994 Lillehammer Olympics. Her rival, Tonya Harding, see, told you. I'm not the only one that was thinking Nancy Kerrigan and Tonya Harding. Her rival, Tonya Harding, was banned for life after her ex-husband and bodyguard hired a hitman to club Kerrigan in the leg. The PSG women's team showed no sign of being unsettled by the attack on the player during their game against Real Madrid on Tuesday night, winning 4-0. The player, a veteran French international, returned to PSG last summer from Barcelona, where she won 3 titles, including the Champions League last year. She was recalled to the French national team in October after a more than 2-year absence, but pulled out because of injury. Diallo, who has played 7 times for France, was called up to replace her in the squad, but was not used by coach Corinne Diacre, I believe is how you pronounce it. And the article ends. All right. This is what I have on the situation. If Diallo, this player, and again, I don't watch soccer. I'm just reading the news story like you're listening to me read the news story for the first time. If something was done, right now it's allegedly. If something was done, my intuition is telling me it has absolutely nothing to do with sports. My intuition is telling me this is personal. And this was a, how can I put this? I don't want to say a punishment. What's the word I'm looking for? You know how you deal with someone and you know what makes them tick after dealing with them for a while, and you sort of know where their weak spots are. I honestly feel that if this was done, it was done where Diallo operated from the mindset of what would hurt her teammate the most, what would hurt her friend, because they said they were friends, the most. Not wrecking the car, not doing this, not doing that. She operated from the mindset of, oh, well, if she couldn't play soccer again, that would hurt a lot. So that's sort of where I'm at on this, where it wasn't, whatever disagreement was had, it was a personal disagreement that leaked over to the sports side, is what I feel. I honestly feel that if they were friends and this person was not her teammate, the attack would have happened anyway, or something would have happened anyway in some shape or form, the news just wouldn't be covering it, if that makes sense. Where something nefarious, allegedly, would have been done that would hurt the individual that was hurt. I don't feel this has anything to do with sports at all. I don't feel that, oh, well, I'm afraid this person is better than me. I don't feel it's a Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding type situation. The Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding type situation was Tanya Harding just, there were some insecurities there, even though Tanya Harding was a good skater. And she let her insecurities get the best of her. For this particular situation, I don't feel there were any insecurities there, at least not related to sports. So, just throwing it out there. But this is what happened. And I hate that it happened in women's sports. Because like I said, first thing that came to mind was Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan. Even though, not saying that this doesn't happen with men's sports, because I know crazy stuff happens with men's, but usually, you know what? Something just said to me, and this is just me talking out loud, you can click off now if you want to. Something just said to me that I feel in the men's sports, and this isn't bias on my end, this is just what I pick up, that they do a better job of covering things up in the men's sports because crazy stuff can be more frequent. So you don't hear about it as much. And the things that you do hear about in men's sports that kind of get out of control, almost like, what was that guy's name? I want to say Ray Rice or Roy Rice or somebody Rice. Or whatever, something with the elevator. I don't know if you remember that years ago. Something happened with the woman on the elevator, and then he had knocked her out and then dragged her from the elevator or something. You can look it up. You know what I'm talking about. For those who follow sports, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, that happened. Like something like that where you just can't contain it. Yeah. Or either the situation that happened not too long ago. The guy who what was he? Was he an NBA player or a football player? He was driving under the influence and he hit someone and the other person passed away. I forgot. I think it happened in Vegas or something. Maybe he was in the football or UFC. I don't know. I told you. You know what my opening says. I don't watch sports. But you know what I'm talking about if you do watch sports. Those type of situations that they can't contain them, I honestly feel that on the men's side, if we're talking about male and female, on the men's side, stuff happens more often. They're just used to covering it up. That's sort of like what my intuition is telling me. Random, I know. But that's what's coming to me. I just wanted to throw that out there. Anyways, I got to get going and get my day started. I told you I'd do a sports story. I did one. And I might even do one more sports story. I'm thinking about it. But this is what's going on. It's allegedly right now. I haven't heard anything else about this. As a matter of fact, before I go, let me click and see. Yeah, because she was released. I'm not seeing anything else on this. So yeah, she was released. If something else comes up, I might cover it again. Like if they find new evidence or whatever. But so far, I guess she's in the clear. KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Until next time, be blessed.